sacrifice their children's food in order to save their soul because you said you can help them, I think you're a loser. I think you're going to pay for the crimes, and you are going to have to uphold, you are going to be held accountable for that type of diabolical usury. It isn't righteous to do that. You have a lot of these mambos and everybody doing spiritual work for people at charging $3,000 to $5,000 to do work for someone. And meanwhile, this person is robbing Timmy to pay John to pay you. And that isn't righteous. There is a consequence for overcharging people for things that you know very well you cannot prove and you cannot quantify. Okay? And you know, I tell the C-stars who come to me, I was like, you have to take responsibility yourself, because if you didn't see the red flags before you paid that amount of money, then there's something going on with you that allows people to take advantage of you. And where in your life, maybe it was something in your youth, you used to, like, maybe your dad took advantage of you, maybe your brothers, maybe a man did, but there's something in you that allows for that to happen, because you would have seen that red flag and you would have said, not today, not on my bill. And I'm not saying that you cannot go and get help and assistance from people who have the ability to show you the tools and to give you help with maybe seeing certain things from spiritual angles that they've evolved and they've have wisdom and they're trained in. I'm not saying that, but you have this entire internet that is riddled with people that are set up here and that aren't messed with, because YouTube loves a good predator. Okay, they'll let people prey on people all day. And as someone who's telling you the truth for darn near free, they don't want you getting that. They want you to pay the $2,000-$3,000 to have someone tell you that they can clear your whole Akashic record, that they can sweep your bloodline, that they can do. How do you quantify that? Tell me how you prove this true. Because sometimes there's things like there's a placebo effect. Someone tells you something and you automatically think it, you automatically put it in your mind, so you make it true. How do you quantify that kind of healing? How do you verify that? Where is the documentation that that's the truth and that's fact? Where is the spiritual letter that comes down and says, hey, this was done for you on on your behalf by this person? You can't. You can't. So there isn't any, I'm going to tell you again, and I know it for a fact. This I know for a fact. There isn't anybody who could clear you of your karmic debt. That is your debt. You have to pay it. If you punch somebody in the face and they didn't deserve it, you're going to have to pay for that debt. If you've taken advantage of people and you know very well you've done it, you got to pay for that debt. There isn't nothing, there's no skip and go, you know, go around to go. You have to do the work yourself. Stop trying to cheat yourself out of the experience. If you came in here as a soul being, you came here for the experience. So it doesn't matter how much you try to pay, how much you try to skip, how much you try to be so lazy that you're unwilling to do the work. You want somebody else to do it for you. There is still going to have to be accountability on you. So if you want to pay that $2,000, if you want to pay that $3,000 and have somebody scam you, then if you're that lazy, then it is what it is. It's very sad, and they're riddled all through life. Listen, I can't tell you how many C-stars are coming to me telling me they got scammed, and there's nothing they can do for it. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Can you sue them? No, because it's a donation. It's most likely a donation. Can you go and say, hey, court, I've been taken advantage of. This person took $3,500 and said that, the Orishas are going to come and save my life or exonerate me for some of the things that are going on in my life. How do you verify that in court? You can't. There's a spiritual court that happens. There's a spiritual consequence to doing that, and that person's going to pay for it. But you've got to take responsibility for having more discernment. The whole online is riddled with predators, y'all. They're all online. And they let them stay online. They let their videos stay up. They let them scam you, because most of them are probably selling drugs too. If anyone is telling you they're spiritualists and they're pushing drugs, then they're part of the agenda. And you always got to look at someone's past. Where are they being seeded from? If you could find out where they come from, are they coming from like Terrence Howard? Are they coming from the entertainment field? Are they coming from that uniformed genre? Because if they're coming from anywhere entertainment, you already know that that whole field is riddled with devils. To be comfortable around those people who are NPCs or upholding a socially destructive circle of diabolicalness. You notice you can't trust anyone like that. Someone who cares for you will do it from their heart, and they will show you things. One thing I say is, and I told you I had beef with the way Brother Panic, big up to Brother Panic, rest in power. Brother Panic, I used to remember many years I had a problem with the way he cursed all the time. So I was like, I don't like the way he curses. I was like, I feel violated and so on. And I really judged him for that. And then one day, it was around the eclipse, many of you know, I kind of resolved it. Like, all his information came. I was able to sit down, and you know what happened? When I realized how powerful that man's teachings were, all the cursing went away. He didn't even curse anymore. So I've realized the cursing was a form of like a dragon. You know how I say these are my dragons? It was like a dragon to deter anyone from coming in who wasn't qualified to hear the information. And once I was able to take in, and I was higher and I wasn't judging him based on that, the information came without cursing. That's what I'm saying. If the people that come on who share with you, they're going to share it mostly for free, because there's a consequence for charging people, and especially exorbitant amount of money for things that you can't qualify, especially to groups of people, especially melanated people, because everyone knows in this firmament, even though melanated people are doing well now, but the majority of melanated people do not have that kind of money as other groups of people. So if you're charging people who are melanated exorbitant amount of money just because you can, that speaks to who you are as a predator. Be very mindful, y'all. And someone said anything, well, Fleur, when you charge for Patreon, I charge $25 and $13 on Patreon, and you can listen to us for days. If you think that's exorbitant, then judge me on that. You come to Patreon, it's like $25 for a month, and you can hear everybody, all these wonderful people share. That's what I feel is appropriate for those shares. I don't feel comfortable going and charging people exorbitant amount of money for things they could get for free. It's not right. It's not righteous. It's not what I represent. It's wrong. It's wrong. And people are like, oh, well, you know what? You should not, I should not be charging people an arm and a leg to hang out with homegirls and learn things from each other. That's what we're supposed to do. So I'm just saying, just be careful. Because again, I'm getting the young sea stars coming to me. I feel bad. You know what I mean? I want to speak to it, but sometimes I don't have the time to really speak to it on the general, on the internet, but I want to speak to it now. I absolutely am in disagreement of it. I repel, I rebuke, I reject people like that. I wouldn't even have someone like that up in my cipher, because those are predators. They're males, they're females, they're brown, they're lunar, I don't even see Asian people doing stuff like that. I don't see it in that community. Maybe I'm not so close to that community. So maybe, but I don't even see Asians do stuff like that to their own people. You know what I mean? Anything that's for you is going to be darn near free. Okay. When information is qualified for you, it'll come for free. When I went to Argentina, I didn't have to pay for anything to contact me. It just did, because I was qualified for it. There's nothing in this world is you have to pay for. If you're lazy and you don't want to do the work yourself, yeah, you may have to go through avenues to pay for it, but there's nothing you have to pay for. Information is free. It's all in the stratosphere. It's all in the air. Okay? So you share from your heart, and if someone's truly trying to help the community, they wouldn't be taking advantage of people. Okay? So, again, you see Mambos doing this, people who are voodooists, who are literally charging people so much money. And I'm like, how could you sleep at night? Knowing that this mother with 3 children, she feels like she's being attacked spiritually. She just needs help. Like, why didn't you charge her like $50 and say, hey, sis, I don't want to charge you that amount of money because I just want to help you. I want to make sure your children have a better mother. Let me give you some tools. No, people are sitting here taking advantage of people because they're not really for you. They're here to uphold their lifestyle. Okay? Whether I'm online or not, I'm going to still be me, and I'm going to still do me. Okay? My lifestyle, gratefully, isn't dependent on me being online. So when I come on you, do you see me getting paid on YouTube? And YouTube even used to have the, what's the thing you used to give? what's the thing you used to give? You used to donate money on the, even that, they took it off. They said, F you, Fleur Brun. F you. And does that stop me from coming on? Did that stop me from coming on here? Did them taking off that little app that said you could donate money stop me from coming on? Oh, Super Chats. It's called Super Chat. I'm sorry. I don't even know the name. Super Chat. YouTube was like, we don't want you getting Super Chat. So what? Okay. I'm still living in my house. I'm still doing what I do. I'm still going where I want to go. What does that have to do with that? Because YouTube will only support those who will support their agendas. Okay? That's it. They only support those who support their agendas. So, and ladies, please do not be susceptible to males, spiritual males, allowing them to do remote work on you. Because when you give him permission to do remote work on you, are you able to close that door? Do you know how many sea stars are having predators coming in the astral plane because she's given this so-called spiritual, voodooist or whoever, a mambo, access to her in the astral, and now he's coming to her every night, sexually accosting her, feeling her up at night, seeing her naked in her bed? Why are you letting men do that to you? You cannot let them do spiritual work, remote work. Now, I do know a lot of amazing. Susan is one. She was amazing. She's from Australia. She did work for me before for some of the sea stars. I promoted her. Who else? They're called what are they called? What are they called? Craniosacrals. Craniosacrals. Do you know how much training you have to go through to be a craniosacral practitioner? Do you know how many years of training? Okay, these are people who have worked, been trained, been qualified, and have put time and effort into it. And these are generally people who sometimes will do remote work, but you have to background check them. Is this someone who has deviant behavior? Is this someone who is participating in drug usage every day? Is this someone who's an alcoholic? Is someone who has a lot of people online saying that they preyed upon them? Okay. Yeah, because a lot of times online, you will see that people will tell, like people will say if they were taken advantage of. Oh, I went to this person. They talked to me on walkie-talkie saying a Shun was on a walkie-talkie. They come and say that. So they tell you that people are taking advantage of them. And then when it comes to me, I'm like, yo, C-Star, where's your responsibility? And if you let him come to you, when did you close the door so that he only did the work and you close the door so he can come back in? Why are you buying all these essential oils from strangers online when you don't know if they have sexual deviancy going on? You don't know what goes on in a house. You don't know if he masturbated on his thing. You don't even know if he washes his hands because nothing qualifies him. Anybody can say anything unless they have the credentials and you can see it. With a lot of people saying they got the help and the work done and that they have a lot of good saying after they get the work done. They have a lot of training done, a lot of self-mastery shows up in their behavior and people connected to them. It always shows up. So you got to be careful, qualified people. If you're going to do work, please don't call me anymore and say that this person did this to you, because all I'm going to do is do this rant here and tell you, you should have known better. Just because they can take advantage of you doesn't mean you should let them. And again, there isn't anyone that, and I'm 1000%, and I would challenge anyone to ask me, there isn't anyone who can clear your Akashic records. They are your own. They can't access it because they don't share your DNA. You can access it. Now, if they're putting you under hypnosis and having you access your Akashic records, that's different. But if someone is telling you that they're accessing your Akashic records, I call BS on it. Let me see the proof. Where's the paperwork? Where's the spirit coming and giving you verification? Be careful with that, y'all. You cannot, stupidity is not an excuse. Laziness is not an excuse anymore. You're going to get caught up, and then you're going to and if you let these predators attach to you, especially giving them access to you in the astral realm, this is not the time to let them attach to you. Because then you'll feel exhausted. A lot of your gifts will be taken. They could cipher off of your sexual energy. They could cipher off of your creativity, your money. You can't let people have access to you like that. Stop it already. They're pure spiritual parasites. And I don't care who they are. Like I said, there's no names. There's 50 million names that goes along with this label, y'all. I'm not talking about one person. I'm talking about a multitude of people who carry this signature. There's a lot of people who carry this signature across all different demographics. But why I have more of a strong issue with brown people doing it is because they're preying upon a people whose social economical background does not qualify to charge them astronomical amount of money and feel comfortable going to sleep at night doing so. We only talk about P. Diddy being a predator, but do we talk about the fact that all of these women, I'm from Mount Vernon, y'all. I grew up with Sean Combs. We all grew up together. Misa was his mother, went to high school. We all went to school at the same time. People always say, oh, these people were victims. Were they really victims, or they were just greedy predators themselves that wanted to join the bandwagon so they could get some notoriety and some money? None of these women are total victims. Like I said, the woman who called me, who said she was victimized by one of these people online, you aren't a total victim because you chose to participate knowing very well that something and you should have said you shouldn't have done it. All these young girls participating with Sean Combs, you think they didn't know he was a dog? You think they hadn't heard the rumors? You think they didn't see aspects of him, but they wanted to get on. They wanted to get notoriety. They wanted to get money, and they want to be taken care of. So are they really truly victims? Full victims, okay? When you see that video of Cassie getting her behind beat, which was absolutely disgusting, and no person should ever do that, but how many times before that had he done that? And it wasn't recorded. And how many times did she go back sitting underneath that bastard on an award show, sitting comfortably, making it seem like us, like they were a wonderful couple, putting up that facade? So you can never put these people on pedestals. All these people are, anyone on the entertainment either is a predator or is complicit in predatory behavior. I will say it again. Anybody who's in the entertainment sector is either a predator or complicit with predatory behavior. That's why you shouldn't have your children ever admire these demons online, because for the fact that they're being illuminated, pushed, prodded up in the spotlight, all the kind of dark things they had to do to be put up there. Okay? And also, just to play devil's advocate with this whole thing with Sean Combs being a psyop. First of all, it's all psyop, and I want to remind anyone who's new, who came here and didn't hear me earlier. Did you not notice that the last time his place was raided was on a full moon that was also a eclipse? And then it happened again on a full moon eclipse when he was supposedly arrested. And you don't really clearly see him arrested, y'all. I have not seen the mugshots. I'm calling BS on it. I think it's a psyop and a ritual, okay? And also you have to realize that he was about to open a political party called the Black Party. And you cannot do dirty, dark deeds, sticking your penis in every hole in someone's bum and expect that you could come around and do something good for the community, because you signed on with the devil. You cannot then try to sign on with the righteous aspect of the other side. Okay, because the fact of the matter is, this man was starting to create a party, a political party that would make brown people have more say and pull them into one political party. Do you think that the Willy Wonka was going to let him do that? They were going to use all of the diabolical footage that they kept, waiting for him to get too hot on the pot. Okay? You cannot, if you ever want to be righteous, you cannot come from darkness, because they will throw it in your face. The truly righteous people that aren't getting attacked, that aren't getting hurt, these are people who live righteously for real, for real. They don't just talk about it, they be about it. They aren't hurting their families. They're not hurting other people's families. They're not taking exonerated money from their own communities. They're not talking bad about people. They're not mistreating their own children. They're not doing diabolical sexual parties or perversions and expecting you're going to get something good and be able to do something good for the community. That Willy Wonka, that government lets you. The government will only let you do dark things to brown people because we are in that time frame. If you've qualified to have melanation right now, it means that you got to uphold yourself to a higher standard. Because if you don't, they're going to get you. Because people say, oh, why brown people always being arrested? Why they was getting in trouble? It's because you have to understand that in this particular time frame, in this simulation, soul beings are being held accountable to things at a higher standard because they're coming from outside the firmament. Anyone from inside the firmament is not upheld to any standard because they're part of the malware. They're part of this. So they're not going to get in trouble for certain things because they're part of the system. The ones coming outside of the system projecting themselves in here are going to be held at a higher standard. So that's all I have to say about the spiritual. Please don't call me anymore, please, because I had a couple sea stars contact me. A couple. It's been over the years though, and it's many different spiritual predators on here, and they don't deserve their name to ever be spoken on my page because I don't really care enough about them. They're not people I align with. I don't kiki with them. I don't talk to them. I'm not. None of them I'm subscribed to. So I don't just talk. I don't hang around people like that. At least I don't know. If I know what they are, I just leave them alone. Okay. Those are people that I feel like if you are spiritual enough, if you have enough discernment, if you've been working on yourself, you would know better. Okay? Coming to me crying over spilled milk at this time when you know better, and they all admitted that they knew better. They just felt desperate. They felt sad. And that's why I said this person's a predator. All of these people are predators. They know that these people are desperate and in need of help, and they're using their desperateness and their sadness or their grieving. One woman lost her just her mother and was just dealing with overwhelming grief, just grieving. And this woman charged her $300 to try to get the woman's mother to talk. Listen, I don't want to talk about it. It's tragic. It's tragic. It's just it's really disgusting. And this woman didn't have that kind of money, but she wanted to talk to her mother. She just wanted to connect to her mom again. And who does that? You got to think, who does that? Like, got to think of the type of person who even would think of charging people that amount of money over grieving people. Because if you've ever lost someone, many people know I lost my father, my grandmother, the heartache that comes with that. And sometimes you're not even rational because the grieving is so much. And then to have a spiritual predator just sitting lurking so that they can get a come up off of to play spiritual doctor. And then basically this person felt like they got right afterwards because nothing happened. Because how do you qualify? Who you want to take to court? You want to take the Orishas to court? I don't laugh. I don't mean to laugh, but who are you going to take to court? Come on now. Please do better, y'all. Please do a lot better. Do better with, because many of you see my mom and dad back there? You see that picture, that wedding picture? That's my mother and father. Okay? I love my mom and dad. I love them. My dad was the sweetest man in the whole world. The reason why I am the way I am, the way I love the way I am, the way that I hold myself with a lot of integrity, the way I've learned. My father used to tell me, you do not take anything from a man that you cannot qualify and that you cannot reciprocate. My father said that one time. I remember a young man liked me so much. One day he came and got me this beautiful tennis bracelet. I was young, maybe like 16. Gave me a tennis bracelet. It was so pretty. And I didn't think anything of it. It's like, oh, okay. And I came home and my father said, you bring that back to that young man. That young man is going to have an expectation of you because you took that. And you do not take from any man unless it's your husband or you're with them for years and it's qualified. But he said that man he's going to hold you to that bracelet. And we found it was a real diamond bracelet. So I gave it back to the guy and I hadn't ever done that again. But my father had to tell me, you know what I mean? I wasn't qualified. How dare I take something that I wasn't even in alignment with? I didn't know. I'm a young girl. God gives you a pretty gift. You're like, oh, sure. But I had to learn that. So if you like my personality, you like my integrity, you thank those beautiful people behind me, the sweetest, kindest people that have many people who qualify my parents. They're way sweeter than I am. Way sweeter, really sweet island people. They never hurt a fly. They have such good reputations. I'm so grateful. So if you like some of my integrities, because I've been raised by some beautiful people who just had the heart and the kindness and they just had it in them. I'm not, like I said, I'm not them, but I've been raised by some sweet people. So I hold myself with integrity. So I learned from a long time ago, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Okay. And I make sure I live by that. So anyway, y'all, I think I talked about enough. Anybody have anything else to say? I hope this was a good share. Right now the simulation is ending. We're about to see on the 29th, you're going to see that fake Chinois moon come in. Women, sun sea stars, please let me know how you feel. A lot of us were getting menses early. Menses is double. A lot of cramping, tiredness. A lot of the men were feeling really exhausted. A lot of tummy aches because another sphere is coming in atmosphere, and it's causing probably kind of like a barometric pressure, causing people's bodies to be thrown off. And the magnetic sphere is changing with that fixture being put in the sky, and the gravitational pull is going to change. So I would just say for everyone, you're going to have to ground, like Judy Brown, ground. You're going to have to ground something really, really intense, because it's attacking females. And I actually think, and this is a theory, I'm not sure if I'm correct. Listen, I'm not sure if I'm correct, y'all. So don't hold me to this. But I actually think that this particular moon that was created by Shinwa and probably India, that's my theory, with all the spy balloons in the air, nobody checked them. I think they were doing measurements in the air to see how much air or mass they could put up in that sky. I actually think it's going to do harm to the females. Call me paranoid. You can call me paranoid, but everything they're doing, because remember, they have that witch hunt. So remember, the females are the only ones who can leave, and only males that are leaving are qualified by females that love them and that are truly loved by them. That's why a lot of men are encouraged to not bond with women as much, because they don't want the men to be able to be qualified to leave. So the only people that can leave this game and graduate outside of the firmament are all female. Only males that are leaving are males that are qualified by the females who love them and who they truly love. And if you notice, I don't see a lot of loving relationships with males and females anymore. I see this simulation, this game is trying to generate a lot of beef between men and females. So I think just get over that. Just if you love someone, y'all, if you love, gentlemen, let me say this, because I speak to a lot of young men and they're so sweet. And let me say this, Sun Stars, stop being afraid. Stop being afraid to love and thinking that she's going to hurt you, she's going to take advantage of you. Girls feel the same way. A true warrior, a true strong man isn't afraid to love, because the word afraid and fear is in there. A true man who is honest in his emotions and his feelings and is truly feeling that deep connection wouldn't ever hold that back. Do love. So gentlemen, young men, I know it's a scary time. I know the young ladies are being very thoughterist. What's it? Thoughterist. Okay. But you will qualify for the person who if you love her, she will love you. Like, it's like a qualification thing. Like, remember, you mirror back who you are back to you. So if you're healthy, you're not trying to play games with her. You're not trying to hurt her. You really love her. You think about her all the time. You just really want to make her happy. You want to be in her presence all the time. That is going to be who you qualify and will be attracted back to you. Stop holding your hearts back, because it's going to inevitably keep you here. Okay? Because that is the type of behavior that locks men into this realm. Okay? So if you want to have true love, you got to be able to give it. So I say a lot of our young men are a little afraid. And C-Star, stop playing with these men. You're not men. Just stop playing with them. I know that you're afraid to be hurt, but there's no reason. If you love someone, show them. And if they show any different, then you walk away. But just be brave enough to love someone. Be brave. That to me is bravery. Like, when I see a real man, he is brave. He is all with his woman, and he'll call her his woman. He will show his woman. He is brave. He loves her. And in that love, he's just like unwavering in that expression. And I think that's a form of warriorship. That's a form of healthy masculinity. And same with C-Star. Stop, vilifying men all the time. There are some beautiful men out here as well. They're very afraid. And I talked to some of them. I didn't understand that a lot of guys are afraid to be hurt. And that's why sometimes they may, be resistant to giving their heart to you, because they think that you're going to play with it. But, I think right now, if this is a time to love, if you find someone that's qualified, blood lineage, non-cucarachita, you know what I mean? He's willing and able, and she is, then get it, make love, because that's the best way to get through this time. If you got a partnership that's healthy, make love with them. Make love, be happy, go picnicking, go dancing together, make picnics on the table, cook dinner together, enjoy yourself, because that's one way that we can get over a lot of this thing. Love is actually love is like a skip to go, like, kind of thing. So if you have love right now and it's healthy and it's coming from a place of integrity, you're going to skip and go, because that was one of the things that actually is like a pass to get to the furthest part of the game. Okay, but that's why they push such agendas to make men and women hate each other, and competition, and oh, she's a thought and I can't trust her, or I just want these hoes, and that's all a psyop. You know what I mean? Just love. I mean, god darn it, if you got a sexy, listen y'all, if you got a sexy one right there, she's beautiful, you love her, she's got beautiful eyes, you like the way she talks, you think about it all the time, let her know. Let her know, and let her know she's the only one you're thinking about, and just get it. Just get it. You know what I mean? That's why I say, if you have a partnership that's based in love, by all means, skip and go straight to the end. We'll meet you there. Okay. So I'm going to go, y'all. I hope this was helpful. Okay. Just pay attention. Next week, if you feel anything with the moon, I would love that in the comment section. If you can kind of talk about how you were feeling, if you weren't feeling well with the moon coming, like with this full moon, and are you feeling this other fixture coming in on the 29th? I guess we may come live again to talk about how that's making, but females, women, it's going to really affect us. So we're really going to have to grounds. Try not to wear rubber bottom shoes. You should be wearing leather bottom shoes. You should be walking on the ground. Try to refrain from eating things that are really dense, processed foods. You got to really watch your body now. It really kicked our butts in Zoom. So I know that it's hitting everybody. So females, you have to pay attention. You really do. Like just sugar is not your friend right now. Try to avoid as much processed sugar, and yes, wine. To my winos, wine, spirits, wine and spirits, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of